Hi there, Songbirds! This is Kerri Ho from songbird.com, where we get grounded, take flight, and sing. And today I have something very, very special for you. I'm starting a new web show where I will be interviewing other vocal experts, music industry professionals, and artists so that you can be inspired by their stories of how they are making a career out of music and how they are changing the world. And today, my guest is Kimberley Smith from inspiredtosing.com. She is a wonderful colleague, fellow vocal coach, and friend of mine. So stay tuned, you're going to love this interview. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Awesome. Are you enjoying your tea?
Oh, it's great.
Yeah,
this is very good tea. See, Kerri looks after you when you come in.
Okay, so hey, we're here to have a bit of a chat with you. I would really love for you to be able to share, just about your journey and stuff, right? And just what's going on for you, because you're a really inspiring person to me personally.
Thank you.
And I just really love to be able to, share that inspiration, I guess, with the world. So no pressure or anything.
No pressure, I feel.
Are you ready?
I am ready. Let's do it.
Let's do this. Awesome. All right, so Kim, can you just share with us just a little bit about your journey? Just how did you end up where you are now as a vocal coach, as a singer, as an artist, as a creative entrepreneur? Tell us.
Yeah, so I guess my singing career started really early. I loved it as a kid. There's lots of embarrassing footage of me as a child singing, and I think that it really made me feel confident because I had a natural singing voice, I think, when I was quite young.
Nice.
And it ended up that I would perform a lot and perform at school and in choirs and things like that, and would get quite a few solos, just I think because I had the confidence and the strength in my voice.
Yeah.
And then I just found that I tied up quite a lot of my identity in my voice, which was good up until a point where you hit high school or university, and then other people are actually better than you. And so that was quite challenging. That was a challenge that I had to overcome. Was that
bit of a rude awakening in some ways?
It was, yeah. And then I got some vocal training and went into university and studied opera. And then I encountered another challenge, was that I wasn't passionate about opera, and I did it anyway. And I just pushed through those 3 years.
Yeah.
But it made me quite unhappy because I wasn't in my element. I didn't practice very often, which must have frustrated my teacher a lot. Because I didn't love the medium. I didn't love it in the way that I loved, say, musical theatre, which I was doing on the side.
Yes. Oh, you're speaking my language.
I loved being on stage, and I loved the freedom and the fun that was in musical theatre. And
totally get that. Yep.
Yeah, I was doing that, and also the community around musical theatre just lights a fire in me. So I was doing that, but I was unaware that I was approaching that in the wrong way as well. I've been singing classically, and so I was singing with a completely different vocal placement than I should have been in musical theatre.
Yes.
And then approached another challenge. I just feel like I've got all these challenges coming up, which is how you learn and how you get to be where you are now.
Absolutely.
But, I would lose my voice quite often. So I would encounter vocal fatigue, which then you actually I had an element of shame. I'd been training for so many years already, and yet had no real control over my voice. And people would be like, oh, you've got this great voice, but it would only last a certain amount of time. So particularly when I was singing some of the beltier numbers, because I would just push them. I would just push them out.
We've all been there.
Then I encountered that challenge and didn't really know how to deal with it. And I found that a lot of the teachers that I'd had would say things like support your voice more, or just don't sing with strain, and things that were very vague to me.
Yes.
And then I would take that on board as I didn't understand and I wasn't doing the right thing, and that I was stupid, and I've had students that have come to me with the same thing. And it's actually a reflection, and I want to say this to you guys, it's a reflection on your teacher not finding new ways of telling you how to approach it. And I'm quite a visual person, and I could hear that I wasn't doing the right thing, thing, but I didn't know what to change with my muscles and things like that.
Yeah.
If I'd just been told that maybe, you know, my tongue was moving around a lot more, then I could have focused on that. So please, if you're struggling with any sort of vocal technique, it might not be you. You just need to tell your teacher that I don't understand that way of
that's it. So just being
explained.
open to actually say to your teacher, hey, is there another
Definitely.
way?
Yeah, and I wasn't confident enough to do that, and
Sure,
I didn't
sure.
realize that it wasn't, you know, all on me.
Yeah.
So yeah, then I moved over to Melbourne, where I am now, and I slipped right into
Because you're from New Zealand.
Sorry, I am from New Zealand.
Rewind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Moved from New Zealand to
Yes,
Melbourne,
yes.
where I thought there would be more opportunities
Yeah.
in singing.
Yeah.
And yeah, then I slipped right into an administrative job and stayed in that.
Admin.
Yes.
Wow.
I
Okay.
had this music degree in my pocket, and yet
Yes.
I went into the corporate world, and I was there for a number of years, probably about 3 years.
Wow.
And
you know what I can't imagine?
no, I know. I didn't fit in at all, I tell you that much. And then I just at one point sort of realized, what am I doing? I need to be using my degree and using my gift and actually feeling passionate about what I do. And so I quit my job and started teaching. And that was a learning curve in itself. You know, I'm from the belief that I am never going to know everything about teaching singing, but you know, I was learning so much. Like I had all this training, but you actually learn so much from your students as well. So I just keep becoming a better teacher.
That's amazing.
Every week because they're helping me, and,
Yes.
and I'm also just always constantly learning and researching and doing that sort of stuff myself as well. So yeah, and I haven't been doing a lot of performing. I was in a band a couple of years ago, sort of singing rock and pop covers, and back in New Zealand singing Motown as well.
Fun.
But yeah, I do need to get back out there, and so
Sure,
I've been sort of tossing up writing a cabaret for a little while. So there's some of that happening, and writing my own songs and just doing it for my own enjoyment at the moment. But,
Sounds amazing. Yeah, cool. You know, as I hear you speak, Kim, I really sense this just deep passion for teaching. Like you really love teaching.
I do.
So tell me, what is it about teaching that you love so much?
Yeah. I actually didn't think I wanted to be a teacher. In university, they sit you down and they're like, so you've got a music degree. What are you going to do with that? And because it's such a slim proportion of the students that go through actually get performance jobs because they're few and far between, unfortunately. So they're like, oh, you could do teaching, or you could become like a music therapist and all this sort of stuff. I was like, nah, I'm gonna be one of the few that goes out there and is performing on stage. And so I really just brushed singing to, teaching to the side and thought that's not for me. But as soon as I started doing it, I realized that was where my real passion, even more passionate than performing, lies. Because
Fantastic.
I think it's in the transformation that we get to witness as teachers. It's actually not really anything to do with singing often. It's singing is the medium where people actually grow in confidence and they realize what they're capable of. And to witness that, and you'll know that is just, it's magic when somebody has like a breakthrough and you can see the shock in their face. They go, I created that. That is my unique voice.
That's awesome.
And being proud of that. And actually, you know, I get quite emotional often in lessons. I feel like once a week, like I feel like I'm going to break into happy tears because you watch people transform in the most amazing ways, and that's what really keeps me going as a teacher.
Yeah, love it. That's amazing, Kim. Love your passion. So you talked about quite a few challenges that you went through in your journey as a singer, an artist, a coach. Did you ever have a moment where you really felt like a failure? And how did you deal with it?
Can I choose just one?
Yeah, we've only got half an hour, so just one will do.
Yes. I think the biggest one is when I was talking about losing my voice. So when I was performing and I was doing lead roles in musicals and things like that, and I felt like I was really letting the cast down because of my vocal fatigue, and like I should know better. You know, as I said, I've done all this training, and you know, I'd gone through university and gotten this degree and still actually couldn't control my voice in the way that I wanted to. So I would be belting out, you know, maybe Aretha Franklin, and then like for a few songs it would sound really, really great, and then like my band would have to change the set list for me because I couldn't go for the full 2 or 3 hours that the gig was. So I did feel like a failure. Like I couldn't control that, and it wasn't until I came to Melbourne and started seeing other teachers and learning about how placement is different for different styles that I actually could overcome that. And I was so excited. Yeah, it was so exciting to discover that it wasn't actually me and it wasn't my voice, and you know, I thought that I'd reached the peak, and I thought that's all I can do, and maybe I shouldn't actually challenge myself and do more of these, or sing for longer or whatever. But you actually don't have any barriers with your voice. No, you don't. Like you can do whatever you like as long as you've got the determination and the motivation, and just a really great coach or coaches that you're working with that are helping you move through those blocks and just exploring different ways of doing things.
That's fantastic. So the big takeaway, Songbirds, is that, you know, don't feel like you need to settle for, I guess, the voice that you've got now, and you think that's it, that's all I can ever do, I can never get any better than that, or that's just the voice I was born with. There's always, you know, you can always improve. There's always ways of getting more out of that voice.
Yes,
right?
And you must have felt the same at some point as well, where you reach a point, you're like, okay, I'm done. That's as good as I get.
Absolutely. Every day, Kim.
But you just keep on pushing through and exploring new territory.
The greatest thing, as I listen to you speak, is that, you know, you've got this real sense of purpose, and, you know, it's just such an amazing thing to be able to get up in the morning and just know that you are exactly where you should be, doing what you feel that you are called to do, right?
Yeah, oh my gosh, I'm really grateful.
Yeah, and you know, changing the world as you're doing that. I know you would never admit
like a superhero.
Okay, now Kim, you talked a lot about how, you know, when you're teaching singing, you're you know, discovering that it's so much more than vocal technique, right? There's a lot to do with mindset and attitude and all that sort of thing. Now I know that you've got this amazing resource that you've gathered some of your pearls of wisdom. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Right, so I wrote an ebook called Shine Brighter, and it's all about sort of tapping into self-confidence and self-worth and blocks that you might have mindset-wise that are stopping you actually being the best singer that you can be. Because a lot of the time our technique is there, we're actually just not releasing it because we're holding back our energy, because we might be a little bit self-conscious, or somebody, you know, way back in our past told us that we would never be a singer, that sort of thing. So it really talks through those sort of things, and also just reminding you that you're not alone. We all go through this, and if you have like a community of singers that you can tap into, it's such a great way of realizing that you're not alone, and all of these you know, all of the creative artists go through this all the time. But yeah, it's a bit of a workbook. It's a bit about my story as well, to share what I've been through. And it talks a little bit about technique, but it's mostly about just clearing some of those blockages and working through what it might be that your ego is telling you as you sing that you need to quieten and remove yourself from, and actually get back to the enjoyment and the passion and the drive that you had for singing in the first place.
That's fantastic. You know, I mean, because I'm a coach as well, you know, I see this come up a lot, and not just for my students, but for myself as well, right? And I think especially as coaches, sometimes we put even more pressure on ourselves, and it's even harder to enjoy. So what would be, I guess, your number one piece of advice for singers out there who are struggling with this, you know, struggling with how do I actually enjoy my craft of singing, even though I may not be exactly where I want to be, you know, even though I may not be Beyonce right now. But,
we all want to be Beyonce.
You know, totally. And, you know, we're like Beyonce freaks, but anyway, that's another story for another time. Like what would be your number one piece of advice?
I actually have two. Am I allowed to have two? I'll be really quick.
Go for it. No. Take your time. Take your time.
So the first one is to actually embrace being silly. So going into it, you know, singing something that you would never usually sing. So my favourite karaoke song is Gangsta's Paradise. I love doing it. I love putting on like my rapper voice and just throwing it out there, being coolio. And I find that people are so judgmental of their own voices that if you take them away from something that they're comfortable in, they're more likely just to go for it and to sort of, I'm obviously not a rapper, look at me.
Oh, really?
But yeah, I don't have the chain or anything. But because it's actually so far removed from what I'm trying to do with my voice, I can relax a lot more. So also I get singers sometimes, I'm like, can you sing this for me badly? Like really badly. And a lot of the singers can't sing out of tune. They have to really focus on singing out of tune. So what they do is they loosen up. And they actually usually sound better.
Yes.
Because they've just let go of all that tension and they've let go of trying to control each and every note. So that would be my first one, is just be silly with it, make weird noises. And again, it comes back to being curious. Like, what can you do with your voice that's outside of singing perfectly? And the second one is to stay present. And this is something that I've been exploring in the last kind of couple of months with my students, is actually singing each note as it comes and stop rushing forward. Because what we do is we have these points in songs where we panic. It's usually the big belty notes or the high notes or jumps or whatever it is. And we focus on those. And so we don't actually take time to really enjoy the easy notes or the verses or whatever it might be. We don't anchor them properly, and we don't really sort of let our voices resonate on those ones because we're so worried about the big notes or like the end of Defying Gravity or whatever it is. So actually look at each word. So when you're following lyrics, look at each word and sing it as it happens. And you'll find this really, really difficult. I've had singers that have been singing for 20 years and they go, I can't do this. This is the one thing that I can't do, is actually get out of their own heads and be present. So I call it the zen of singing.
I love it. That is very cool. So the two things were be silly, so embrace silliness, and the second one was to be present and embrace the zen of singing.
Yes,
right.
Those would be my two. Those would be my two. Yeah.
I think that's
and they're hard to do.
That's amazing, and it's hard. It is hard. Yes. So it does take practice, doesn't it?
It does. Don't beat yourself up because you can't sing in the present moment, because almost no one can. Or you could do like four notes and then your brain goes, oh, you kind of skipped over that one, or that was a little bit flat or whatever, and you're not right there. So it's difficult.
Absolutely. That's just fantastic, Kim. Thank you.
Can
I ask you another question about this subject?
You can.
So thank you.
I'll allow it.
So the whole issue of confidence, I mean, that's a massive deal for singers, right? What would you say is, like one strategy that you would recommend for singers in dealing with confidence issues?
I find it really difficult to teach this as a coach, because it's actually got nothing to do with me. Right. I can encourage as much as possible, but it's actually you've got to do the work on your confidence. So what I would probably say is to start writing down some of the positives. So really start from a place of positivity really first.
Yeah, fantastic.
What do you really love about your voice? And I ask students this all the time, and I get, I don't know. It's all right, I'm kind of in tune. Start with, I can be in tune. Like that is actually a positive.
Totally.
If you find that and even if you're not in tune all the time, I'm in tune from this note to this note. Perfect.
Yes.
So start from a place of positivity and be really gentle with yourself, and then it's more about going slightly outside your comfort zone. So even if it's meeting up with a couple of other singers or going to an open mic night, you don't even need to perform, just going there and actually chatting to some other singers, getting a community behind you that's really supportive and encouraging is really important. If you're finding that you've got a lot of people that are quite negative about your singing, saying that you'll never make it or that your voice isn't very good, you're never going to escape that until you find your tribe and until you find people that are going to encourage you in that. So that's really important. And so the challenge is maybe you write your first song. It might be terrible, but you've gone and you've done it. So it's actually getting these little milestones that you can tick off and go, I never thought I could do that. Because when you see somebody do something that and I was talking about this earlier, when they do something that they thought they couldn't do, their whole face lights up, and that's when it's building blocks of confidence, because you're never going to wake up and go, oh my gosh, I'm amazing, I've got all this confidence and I can do anything and I'm invincible. It's block by block. That's it. Just little challenges. Don't set your sights on Love on Top by Beyonce if you've just started lessons 2 months ago.
Yes, that's it.
And another thing, I've got way too many pearls of wisdom. is to go back to songs that you did maybe 4 or 5 months ago and sing them again, because you're always improving. But what happens is that as coaches, we give you the next challenge. So we're not going to give you songs that are really easy for you.
That's right.
You should go back and do the ones that you've done a number of months ago and see the change in your voice, because you'll notice, oh my gosh, I couldn't hit that note before, or now I can hit that in my mix rather than in my head voice, or it's not constricting. And really take note of those changes.
Yes.
You need to write down, wow, like, you know, I can now mix to that note, or I could do that without strain, because otherwise you're just constantly getting harder and harder pieces, and you feel like you're banging up against a brick wall, and you're not, you're growing. So acknowledging that growth.
I love that, Kim. That's amazing. That's really, really practical stuff. So, so I really encourage you guys to really start doing some of that stuff. So, Kim suggested writing down the things that you love about your voice, and even if you don't feel like you love it, right? It's more just acknowledging, like, yeah, I can sing in tune, or whatever all those things are. It's the little building blocks, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah.
And you mentioned also. What was the second thing you said?
Finding a tribe, like connecting with other singers.
That's it. No, that's key, isn't it? Because sometimes we can feel so lonely, but we realize that as soon as we just get out and start talking to other singers, we realize, hey, I'm not the only one.
No, we're struggling with all the same things.
Exactly, and that's so empowering. Yeah. And lastly, going back to the songs that you maybe did, 6 to 12 months ago that you did think were really hard then, and then realizing, oh my goodness, my voice has grown.
Yes.
And celebrating that.
Definitely.
I love it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Now, Kim, I know that you have so many more pearls of wisdom to share in this whole area, which you've got in your ebook, right? So I just want to let you guys know there will be an opportunity for you to go and check that out, okay? So we will be posting the links below this video, so make sure you go and check it out. It is an amazing resource. Like, I remember, Kim, when you sent that to me and I read it, I remember crying tears and just going, oh my goodness, this book just speaks to my heart.
Yeah, there have been a few tears.
Oh, totally.
Well,
And I'm sure it just would have taken so much for you to write it as well, because it comes from a place deep within you, right? And all the experiences that you've had, as well as all the experiences that your students have.
Yes.
And it's just so special. So guys, I really encourage you to go and check that out later. And we'll give you some more details of how you can find Kim and all that stuff as well later in the piece. But got a couple more questions for you.
Excellent. Bring them on.
Awesome. Okay. So, all right, the Songbird Tree's tagline is "Get grounded, take flight, and sing."
Love it. It's beautiful. It's so simple yet so important. I love it.
Thank you. A lot of singers seem to resonate with that. Now, I'm interested to know what sort of, parting advice would you give in line, with that tagline?
I would probably sort of reiterate the being present thing. And I guess adding on to that, when you're on a performance, being able to be present, because it's one thing to do it in practice, which is very hard. It's another thing to do it in performance. And I feel like the best performances that I've ever had are when I'm really connected.
Yes.
And when I am like in the present and looking at the faces and realizing what impact I'm actually having. So it's important to kind of get out of your own head. More important to do it in performances.
Yeah. What's your favorite restaurant?
Oh, anything Thai.
Great.
I'm not fussy. As long as I've got good roti bread, like I'm happy.
Yeah, and peanut sauce.
Yes, definitely satay sauce.
Awesome. And if you could go anywhere in the world right now, where would you like to go?
My heart is in Paris. I love Paris.
Just remember to take me.
Yeah.
Like,
put you in my suitcase.
Put me. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. What's your favorite book?
Well, at the moment, I'm a bit of a geek. I've been reading singing books, and I read The Talent Code, which is by, I think it's Daniel Coyne. I hope that I've got that right. But that was really, really interesting, and I was actually talking to Kerri about that earlier. So I was geeking out about that and just about how people learn and grow their talent.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, we've come to the end of the lightning round. And
I survived.
Yes, right. So Kim, just thanks so much for coming on the show and just being so generous, with your sharing, with all of your nuggets of gold. We are going to just be benefiting from this to no end. So remember, everyone, click on the link below to go and check out Kim's book, Shine Brighter.
Yes.
Yes. just got amazing insights in there that will really, really help you along with your singing journey. Yeah, and it was just so great to talk to you, and I love how you are using your gifts and music to change the world. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It was wonderful to be here, and have a great day, everyone.
Yes. See you later.
Bye.